What's going on, you guys? Your boy Alex Ramos, and we got some breaking news. Both weigh-ins have officially finished, my guys. You know, you got Caleb Plant and Charlo headlining in the doubleheader. Both guys make weight. Charlo's facing off with Thomas Lamana, reuniting with his brother, my people.
Now to the scale with a record of 33 wins, no losses, 22 knockouts. The undefeated former two-division champion of the world. Here he is, Jamal Hitman Charlo.
So exciting, and just you could tell that when Charlo has his brother next to him, there's a different type of ferociousness that comes with him. He's right there getting into it. He faces off with him, and this looks like a Charlo. Guys, he hasn't fought since 2023, and he's only fought once in 2021. My friends, hey, you can see the dog in him. You guys remember when Mike Tyson got out of prison for the first time and was walking out to that DMX song? Bro, and the freaking commentators were overdoing it, like, oh, Mike Tyson's coming out to some scary, intimidating music. That's how Jamal Charlo looked as he's facing off with your boy Thomas, man. That's the type of vibe that I get. I absolutely love it, my friends. Then you got Caleb Plant, basically almost kissing Jose Armando Resendez.
The very first time I shot you, trade up and you told me that you was this way. I didn't point down enough. That shit right now, those mistakes. Somebody told me.
Man, this is gonna be a war, dude. You know, Jose is a Mexican, and these Latino guys are always coming to fight. You know, now when you look at his record, he's not the best. He's already suffered 2 defeats in his last 5 fights, but still, these guys come to fight. And Caleb Plant, with his style, man, it's gonna be an absolutely exciting week for boxing, my friends, when it comes to that. And hey, in the end of this video, man, we're gonna give a Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda prediction, because a lot of people are saying, hey, you're dropping all these videos on breaking news, this, on that. Why have you made a prediction on fights that are important, like William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson? My guys, we will get to that. But first, what about UFC and MMA, my guys? We're going to start with Kevin Lee signing to the PFL. Now, what is the PFL doing, my friends? You know, they're absolutely losing every single fighter that they have. Patchy Mix, Pitbull Teixeira. I mean, dude, the list goes on and on. And you got, what's his name? Aaron Pico coming supposedly to fight Movsar Evloev in a I can't wait for that fight, but bullcrap type of fight to Movsar Evloev type of thing. But we got that, and then also Macy Barber, Alan Nascimento. You know, Alan Nascimento hasn't fought since 2023, my fans. He's coming off back-to-back wins. Jay Cadley and Carlos Hernandez, they also miss weight. Macy Barber, you know, had to strip down, had to put the thing around her, and still missed weight by 1.5 pounds, my guys. She's facing Erin Blanchfield in the main event today for this weekend's UFC fight. It's the return, as we didn't have UFC last weekend. Not the most exciting card, but I'm mostly excited for the Ludovic Klein versus Mateus Gamrot fight, my guys. That's going to be an absolutely exciting fight. Then, some more breaking news. We got, what's his name? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's going to be taking on Gabriel Bonfim at UFC Nashville, my friends, in July. Who's headlining that fight? Guys, Derek Lewis, my friends. And you guys remember his last fight with Rodrigo Nascimento when he KO'd him in round 3? It got down. And then freaking ended up taking off his shorts and was fanning my boy with him. Guys, he's going to be taking on Tyson. Or you might even remember Derek Lewis for being one of the most boring fights with Francis Ngannou back in the days, my friends. But still, super exciting fighter, Derek Lewis. Remember his fight with Alexander Volkov when he was losing that fight and came back in the end. You guys, he's going to be taking on Towson Teixeira, who only has 1 fight in the UFC. I mean, ridiculous. Before that, he's coming off the Dana White Contender Series fight. And this guy, when you look at his record, he has not fought anybody on the level of Derek Lewis, my guys. Who's going to win this fight? The thing about Taliesin, he's literally on a 5-fight win streak, all in the first round, my friends. His first fight in the UFC guys, didn't even leave the first round. I mean, this guy is absolutely tremendous and exciting. We're going to see if he could carry it to the higher levels in his first big test against a veteran highlight reel, Derek Lewis, my friends. That's going to be an exciting card. You also got Chris Curtis on the card. Then, next week, man, June 7th. I know this week's UFC is not the most exciting, but then you got June 7th coming up with Sugar Sean O'Malley and Rob 2, my friends. You know, who's going to win that fight? So many things that I want to talk about when it comes to that. You got Sugar Sean O'Malley, guys, you know, going out and saying that he's a completely different fighter this time. He stopped smoking weed. Now, as a guy, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I smoke weed. And the guy who stopped smoking weed last year in December for 3 months to be able to take a drug test for my job that I am currently in, it actually does help. I felt like I got clear-minded. I felt like I was better. I felt like I could do more things. I was more focused on other things and not just, you know, hey. And I think that that's going to help out Sugar Sean O'Malley. But I don't know if that's going to help his skills out, because he only had a couple months to prepare for this, you know? And the way that fight went last time with Merab, he got dominated so bad in the wrestling game that, hey, I don't know if it's enough time, my friends. But another thing that Sugar Sean, he said he stopped. Social media. Supposedly, Sugar Sean O'Malley is done with social media. He's not running it no more. He's not on his phone no more, constantly scrolling through it. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's tremendous. That's probably going to help him out as well, because now instead of being focused on that, he can be focused on other things, my friends, like training and, you know, just being active and stuff like that, rather than being on the phone stuck inside at the home. Guys, I can't wait for that. You know, you got the co-main event, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. Absolutely exciting. They're the ones who stole the show at the press conference a while back. We're going to see if anybody can change that coming up in the next fight. Then, Calvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer, my friends. Now, if you guys recently seen Joe Pyfer on the podcast with Ariel Helwani, he was talking about how he was taking back some remarks that he should have not said to the Mexican people specifically, and, you know, what he was saying. But he just absolutely didn't like, you know, how he got sick and this and that. Supposedly when he came back, he was still sick for 3 weeks in the U.S., still complaining. But if you keep watching it, he ends up getting and talking about how easy of a fight it's going to be against Calvin Gastelum, how this is a layup fight. Now, if you're a Calvin fan, I'm telling you right now, that is not sliding by you, my friends. I can't wait for that tremendous, tremendous fight. And then the fight, and before that, Patchy Mix making his UFC debut, you know, Bellator champion, coming to fight against Mario Batista. And I know a lot of people want to see Mario lose, you know, coming off that Jose Aldo win in a fight where he was getting beat in the stand-up. So I understand why he took it to the cage and just held on to him the whole time. I get it. But I know the fans didn't love it, my friends. I can't wait for that. Guys, ridiculous amount of news that's been going on. Like I said, Kevin Lee's going to the PFL. Trevin Giles was also supposed to be fighting this weekend on the Aaron Blanchfield card, my guys, and he had to pull out because supposedly I've been seeing that he hurt himself, a self-injury before the weigh-in, my friends, so that, you know, that new guy, Gustafsson, however you pronounce his name, ain't even going to be able to fight now because Trevin Giles hurt himself, my guys. Now, that guy was coming off a Dana White Contender Series fight, and I was excited to see him. But it does not look like it's happening anymore, my friends. So much things going on. You got the petition already at, what is it, at 160K already, my friends? You got the new no running rule in boxing. Hey, and let me get into Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda real quick. Guys, I think Shakur Stevenson is going to go in this fight and absolutely dominate William Zepeda. If you look at William Zepeda's last fight against Tevin Farmer, who's I would say he's 50% of what Shakur Stevenson is. The way Tevin Farmer fights is completely different than the style that Shakur has. Shakur is more of a defensive, smart fighter. You have Tevin Farmer who's fighting in the southpaw position, both guys. But with the way Tevin Farmer fights, he has one down at his stomach at all times, even when he's getting clipped in the head by your boy William Zepeda. He still doesn't pick up his hand. Like, pick up your hand, bro. But he's still not doing it, my people. It's just, I don't know what's wrong with him when it comes to that, right? Shakur Stevenson is not like that at all. Shakur Stevenson, he keeps his hands up at all times. William Zepeda had so much success against Tevin Farmer because there were so much openings. That's a basic rule in boxing, is to keep your hands up. Unless you're like Floyd Mayweather, man, it is not going to work. Now, why do I think Shakur is going to win? Technically, I think he's better. Like I said, Tevin Farmer has more of an old school boxing style. You know that when he's fighting in the pocket, he's not backing up every single time that William Zepeda threw a punch. He's bobbing and weaving and trying to use his style, his boxing reflexes in the pocket without backing up and getting clipped for it, but it's old school boxing. You know, Shakur is the type of fighter, he's new era, where you come in, the second you come in, I'm out. I'm out of there. I'm backpedaling and I'm out of there. Now, Shakur is not a runner. I know there's some fights where he does run, but he always does still put on some offense. It's not as worse as Devin Haney, my friends. But guys, I think Shakur Stevenson's better fighter. I think, you know, in that fight against Padley, of course he knocked him out. I thought he was going to do that, but he was supposed to fight William Schofield, and I thought he was going to KO Schofield. I already made a video on it. Go check it out. I was calling it KO because I didn't think Schofield and his dad, I think they got themselves there with their mouth, and Shakur was going to put him in his place. Now, am I saying that Shakur is going to knock out William Zepeda? Guys, the William Zepeda is absolutely relentless when it comes to his punches. In that second fight with Tevin Farmer, dominated it, bro. I mean, he carried off what he had left off on that first fight with just ridiculous pressure, high pace, and just thousands of punches, my friends. But I don't think he's gonna be able to do that against Shakur Stevenson. I think he's gonna try to do that. But like Canelo, he used to go off on guys, right? And 6-punch combinations against the ropes, bombing on people until he ran into Floyd Mayweather. And in that fight, he wasn't able to do nothing because the offense and defense and the speed was able to halt Canelo. I think Shakur Stevenson's offense and defense in this fight might actually halt William Zepeda, and it might become more of a boring fight. Guys, I can't wait for this fight. I got Shakur Stevenson winning this fight, my guys. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win. So much news in the world. Oh, and what about Jaime Munguia failing the drug test? My guys, supposedly he has exogenous testosterone in his body. And that means that it's testosterone that had to be put in your body because exogenous, I'm not going to act like I knew before this. I just found out that exogenous means that you have to put it in your body, that your body's not producing it naturally. So they know for a fact he was putting testosterone in his body. Now, to Eddie Reynoso's camp, they're getting caught. Everybody's failing drug tests, my friends. I mean, come on. You got Canelo. It's in my chicken. Now the testosterone. Eddie's training facility is under investigation right now. My people, breaking news. Jaime Munguia in the rematch versus Bruno Soros. The first fight, he got knocked out in the 6th round at Mexico City in his hometown. First time. Guys, was he taking testosterone because he was scared and he felt like he needed it against Bruno Soros in the rematch, which he won, unanimous decision? Let me know in the comments, my guys. I am sweating. Breaking news. I can't wait for tomorrow. Let's go, my friends. I'm out.